Hey friends, my name is Amy Rebecca. Welcome back to my channel. I have put on a pretty bold lip today by my standards to try and distract you from the fact that my hair is a hot mess. Is it working? Anyway, in today's video, we are going to be talking about the pros and the cons of living in the UK, based on my personal opinion from my experiences. Let's just get that straight. If you guys have been subscribed to this channel for a while, then you'll already know that I spent several years living overseas, firstly in Kuwait and then the rest of the time in Bahrain. And while I was there, I made a bunch of videos about expat life, mostly to kind of share the things that I wish I had known before I moved there, so that other people would have that information and wouldn't be going in blind like I did. A lot of people found those videos very helpful, which was nice, but a lot of people got very angry. Called a lot of mean names. Also, one of the most popular hate comments was some variation on, well, your country sucks. Which, I don't know, maybe it does, but like, I don't run it. So the only person that should really insult is Boris Johnson. Because that's just like a comment on the work that he's doing. It's not a comment on me. Anyway, all that to say that I am nothing if not fair, and just like I've talked about the pros and cons and different experiences of the other places that I've lived, now I'm gonna do it for the UK. Because I just can't deal with any more people telling me to go die on the internet. Can I stress once more that this video is based purely on my experiences of my life that I have lived, and if your experiences are different, that is a-okay, because everybody lives a different life. That doesn't invalidate your experience and it doesn't invalidate mine. No hate to the UK, like, it's fine. It is what it is. I don't know why I'm putting myself through this again, but let's go. Pros and cons of living in another country. Let's start with the cons, because then we can finish on a high. Okay, so con number one goes without saying, the weather. I think there's this misconception that it rains all the time in the UK, and that's not true. And one thing I do love about the weather here is that we do have 4 distinct seasons. So even though it is difficult to say goodbye to summer, it is nice to see like the crispy leaves falling and have a little bit of a nip in the air for autumn. That's nice. But it is the unpredictability of the weather. Earlier on this year, we had a week where one of the days it was boiling hot, like it's shorts and t-shirt on, out the back, just like all the windows open. And then a few days later, there was hail. Hail! I just don't understand. In other countries, you can plan to have like an outside barbecue or go to the beach, and you can plan that weeks in advance because you know that the weather's going to be sunny and dry at a specific time of year. In the UK, you literally don't know. It could be sunny, it could be snowing. The next con about living in the UK is that the housing is obscenely expensive. I'm not going to pretend to know what the housing market is like everywhere else in the world. The only experience I have is that I rented when I lived abroad, and when I was meant to be moving to California, that was even more expensive. So yeah, the UK isn't as bad as California, but I also know that in other states and probably in parts of Canada and maybe other parts of Europe, I don't know, but in other places, you get a lot more bang for your buck. The problem with the UK is that it's really small, so the houses are really small, but they're still really expensive. Sometimes I go on to Zillow for fun and look and see how much house I could get in like Texas for the amount that I would spend on like a 2-bedroom terrace house here, and it is very depressing. The third con of living in the UK, it's Brexit. I don't want to get political about this. That's not what this channel is about. Maybe you voted out. That's a choice that you can stand by. I did not. We don't have to argue about it. But I will say that right now in the UK, post-Brexit, kind of sucks. Right now in my town, there is a petrol shortage because the people who used to drive the HGVs that would bring us the petrol were mostly people with EU passports, and we sent them all home. So now there's no one to bring in the petrol, and there's no petrol. Also just the hassle now of traveling within the EU. Yes, you can still go. Yes, you can still go for less than 3 months without a visa, which is great. But even like when I went to Italy last month, the amount of hoops that I had to jump through that people from EU countries didn't have to was just ridiculous, and it made me very cross. We're gonna see how this pans out. Obviously, I don't think it's gonna be a good thing. That's why I voted against it, but we'll see. I'm optimistic. And the fourth con that I personally find about living in the UK is that the food sucks. Not all the food, obviously, and you can find nice restaurants, and you know, some of the like traditional British meals are really good, but generally as a country we will settle for very low standards of food when we go out to restaurants. I can't think of another place I've been where people have actively gone into a restaurant knowing the food will be terrible and have gone there anyway. And again, I guess maybe in bigger places like London, where there's a lot more of an option of places to eat, then maybe it's different. But like where I live, if a restaurant opens that serves good food, everybody's gonna know about it, and you're gonna be on a waiting list to go there, because that is rare to have good food at a restaurant. Now that I've done all my ranting for the day, let's go on to the pros of living in the UK, because there are some, and there are some really good ones. The first of which being, in my opinion, the most important, the NHS. You don't know what it's like to not have access to free healthcare until you don't have access to free healthcare. When I was in California visiting my ex, I chipped a tooth really badly, like half my tooth came out, and I was eating a pizza, so like, why? Anyway, like a fool, I'd forgotten to get travel insurance, so if I went to see a dentist, it would be out of pocket, and the dentist quoted me $3,000. Make it make sense. In the UK, healthcare is free for everyone, and in Wales, where I live, even your prescriptions are free. So you could go in, see a doctor, get sent to a specialist, get surgery, and then get prescribed pills for the rest of your life, and it would cost you literally nothing, which I feel like is the way it should be, because nobody chooses to be sick. So that's incredible, and I don't think a lot of us appreciate it enough. The second pro of living in the UK is that it is absolutely stunning. And again, I feel like this was something that I didn't really appreciate until I had gone away and I came back. But the scenery is beautiful, especially in Wales, not that I'm biased. And there's just so much history, so many beautiful towns to visit with these like really old buildings that you can walk around and just truly breathtaking. So I am working on spending more time like holidaying around the UK and exploring different towns and cities. So if you have any recommendations of some really pretty places I can visit in the UK, let me know in the comments section. The third pro of living in the UK is that generally speaking, it is very orderly and organised. It doesn't feel that way all the time, for sure, but when you compare it to other places that I have been and visited and even lived in, there is like a system in place for pretty much everything. Someone has really taken the time to put everything in a very foolproof way. Like even when you get the tube in London, it's so easy because it's all colour coordinated. It's signposted everywhere which direction you need to go, which tube will take you which place. Oh my gosh, have you tried to take the underground, the subway in New York? It's horrific. You just have to know. There's no explanation of where this goes, where you will turn up, where to get off. You just have to know. And you just have to know, and that's the only way to make it work. Whereas in the UK, I think they do try and simplify everything and make it as user-friendly to like get around the country and go about your life as possible. And I really appreciate that. And the final pro of living in the UK is that, again, generally speaking, I feel like we have very good worker rights. So things like paid time off, annual leave, maternity leave, paternity leave. If people are being discriminatory against you in the workplace, I'm not going to say it's 100% perfect, that system, but there are channels that you can go down to make sure that that doesn't happen. And I know that that's not the case in all countries. workers don't have great rights in all countries. Even in the US, there's no legal requirement to give paid time off. Like, what? You know, we have our annual leave, we have bank holidays, we're able to take sick days, and that's allowed. You can't be fired for just calling in sick, but in other places you can. I know, because I almost was. I almost got fired for having the flu once. And again, it's not perfect. I think that we need to, as a country, well, not me, but Boris Johnson, if you're listening to this, we should look towards, you know, the Scandinavian countries, because I think they're doing a lot better than we are. But generally speaking, it's a safe place to work, and you do have quite a lot of rights that are upheld and respected when you are a worker in this country. That was my rundown of some of, you know, the pros and cons of living in the UK. I hope you could see that even when I'm talking about the place where I come from, it's not perfect by any means. Sometimes I think it really does suck, and other times I think it's great, because here's the thing about literally every country in the world. Nowhere is perfect, and just because there are some undesirable aspects about living in a certain place doesn't mean it's a bad country. Plus, what's undesirable to me might be desirable to you. Everyone is different. Anyway, my bun is starting to migrate down, which means it's time for me to wrap up this video and go sort myself out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like to share some facts about the country that you live in, maybe some of the pros and cons from where you are, I would love to hear those. Leave them in the comment section down below. Don't come for me with hate. I've had enough of that, seriously. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that little bell so you never miss a video. And until next time, remember that you are enough just as you are. I love you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye guys!